Okay, guys. Uh, Good afternoon. So, actually, in university we don't have electricity, so I'm logging with the mobile data. So, if there is there is some kind of a interruption maybe happen, right? So, if there is any interruption happen, you can aware me through chat box, right? So, basically today I'm going to talk about two important auditing standards, SLA US 560, which is we are dealing with the subsequent event, and the SLA US 570 going concerns standard, right? So basically, I will start with the subsequent event standard first, and then I will moving on to the going concern standard, right? So you all are audible, right? I'm audible to you all, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, I will share my screen. So if there is any disruption happen, you can inform me, right? Because I'm logging with the mobile data. Okay. Okay. Okay, I hope you all can see my screen. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. So basically, I'm going to start with the SLA US 560 subsequent event. So this is actually a very simple standard when we are compared with the other standards. So as you know, if you're looking at the name subsequent events, so you remember one standard, accounting standard. So what is that standard? Anyone knows? What is that standard? What is the accounting standard we are talking about? The subsequent events and the other events happen after the reporting period. So what is the standard,
LKS
accounting
10.
standard? Yes, anyone?
LKS 10.
Yes, very good. So LKS 10, right? So actually the SLAUS 560 is based on the LKS 10 subsequent event, right? So basically, as you all know, in LKS 10, we are identify two kinds of events, adjusted event and non-adjusted event. So when it's come to the adjusted event means the events are providing evidence of the reporting period, and non-adjusting events are the events which is not providing any kind of evidence to the reporting period. That is a simple definition, right? So the same concept is also apply here. So why the subsequent events are important is when we are producing or when we are expressing opinion as auditors, as an auditors, so we need to look at the subsequent event as well, right? Not only the reporting period, we need to look at the subsequent events as well. So if there is a subsequent event happen which is giving some of the impact to the reporting period, as an auditor we need to report that, right? Or we need to amend our audit report accordance with that, right? So that is the whole purpose of having the SLAUS 560 subsequent event standard in the auditing standard. Am I clear? Am I clear? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when it's come to the subsequent event, basically we are talking about talking with the three timelines, right? So I have worked in a timelines. So I will draw. Let's see. Okay. So these are three timelines. The first timeline is what? Financial statement date. Financial statement date. Right. And the second timeline, second date is financial reporting, financial statement authorization date. Authorization date. The third one is financial statement issuing date. Issuing date, right? So basically, in subsequent event standard, we are working on financial statement date, financial statement authorization date, and financial statement issuing date. right? So as we all know, what is the meaning of financial statement date? What is the meaning of financial statement date? Anyone? Yes. What is the meaning of financial statement date? Financial statement date can මොකද? What is the meaning of financial statement date? So basically the financial statement date is 12-month period we are reporting our financial. So when it's come to, as you all know, when it's come to banks, so our financial reporting period is starting from 1st of April and ending in 31st March. And if you are considering about the manufacturing company, it will start it from 1st of January and ending at 31st December. So that is our financial reporting or the financial statement date, right? Financial statement date. And the financial statement authorization date means the financial statement are authorized by those charged with governance, right? The date, the financial statement authorized by those charged with governance, right? So those charged with governance means directors and all the owners of the company, right? Directors, right? So that is the financial statement, sorry, authorization date, sorry. So next, we are having financial statement issuing date, right? Financial statement issuing date. So the meaning of financial statement issuing date is the financial statement are issued to the shareholder. The date the financial statement are issued to the shareholders, right? So basically we have 3 days financial statement date, which is the 12-month period we are reporting the financials, and financial statement authorization date. That means the financials are authorized by those charged with governors, basically directors. Then the third date is financial statement issuing date, right? Financial statement issuing date is date which financials are issued to the shareholders, right? So then another important date we missed here, right? What is that? What is the next date we need to look at? Yes, anyone have any idea? So we have 3 days. So other than these 3 days, we have another day. So what is that? Yes, anyone? Yes, the fourth date is audit report date. Audit report date. Audit report date. Report date. So most of the time, the audit report date and the financial statement date are same, right? Audit report date and financial reporting date are same. But sometimes the audit report date is after the financial statement authorization date. Sometimes it will come here, right? Audit report date, right? Audit report date is coming here, right? So, but in Sri Lankan context, always the financial statement authorization date and the audit report date is same, right? It's is same, right? But there is a special condition for this, right? There's a special condition for this. Always the audit report date needs to be after the on or after the financial statement authorization date. ඇයි අපි එහෙම කියන්නේ financial statement management එකෙන් authorize කරාට පස්සේ තමයි අපි audit report එක issue කරන්නේ. එතකොට audit report date එක හැම වෙලේම financial statement authorization කරන date එක හරි ඊට පස්සේ හරි date එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. But in Sri Lankan context, most of the time, the financial statement authorization date and the audit report date is same, right? right? Audit report date is same, right? Why it is important is why in Sri Lankan context the financial statement authorization date and the audit report date is same. There is a reason for that. There is a rationale for that, right? So I will explain it, right? So rationale for the financial statement authorization date and audit report date is same because, as we all know, according to the LKS 10, LKS 10, management have the primary responsibility to the event happen after the reporting period, which is providing evidence about the reporting period. The management have the primary responsibility. So in this period, management have the responsibility. Management have the responsibility. If there is anything happen after the reporting period, which is providing evidence of the reporting period, management have the primary responsibility of those issues, those events, right? But according to the SLAUS 560, right? So if according to 560, from financial statement date to auditors audit report date, the responsibility is with the auditor, right? According to the SLAUS 560, with the auditor about the subsequent event, right? Subsequent event. So you can see in this period, the auditor is the one holding the all the responsibility, right? Auditor have the responsibility of this period. To mitigate this risk, always in Sri Lankan context, financial statement authorization date and the audit report date are same, right? So then management also have the responsibility. So auditor don't want to take an extra risk, right? So he moved the audit report date to the financial statement authorization date in current context, right? So then this risk factor will not be involved with the auditor, right? This risk factor will not be involved with the auditor. So therefore, the financial statement authorization date and the audit report date are same in current context, right? Am I clear? Am I clear? Am I clear, Buddha? මේ විස්තර කරපු එක මොන හරි ඉෂුස් තියනවද? මෙතනින් ක්ලියර් කරන් යන්න ඕන. මේ ටික තේරුම් ගත්තොත් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක clearly identify කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Any concerns? Clear or not? Clear or not? Is it clear? Okay. Okay, I will explain in Sinhala as well, right? So අපි dates හතරක් එක තමයි මේ subsequent event කියන standard එක ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒතර අපි first date එක තමයි financial statement date එක. The second date එක තමයි financial statement authorize කරන date එක. Financial statement authorize කරන date එක කියන්නේ those charged with governors නැත්නම් directors ලා financial statement okay කියලා sign කරන දවස. Then financial statement issue කරන දවස. Financial statement issue කරන්නේ අපි shareholders ලා. Shareholders වලට financial statement issue කරන දවස අපි financial statement issuing date එක කියලා ගන්නවා. Right? එතකොට මේ timeline තුනේ තමයි අපි subsequent event කියන standard එක ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕන. එතකොට හැම වෙලේම අපි ඒක ඉගෙන ගද්දි තව date එකක් අපිට involve වෙනවා audit report date එක. Right? එතකොට audit report date එක හැම වෙලේම financial statement authorization කරපු date එකට date එක දවසට හරි ඊට පස්සේ දවසක් හරි වෙන්න ඕන. ඒ කියන්නේ සරලව කිව්වොත් financial statement authorize කරාට පස්සේ තමයි audit report එක issue කරන්න ඕන. Right? Audit report එක issue කරන්න ඕන නැත්නම් sign කරන්න ඕන. Right? එතකොට current context එකේදී හැම වෙලේම financial statement authorization කරන date එකයි audit report date එකයි same. Right? ඇයි ඒක එහෙම වෙන්නේ? LKS 10 වලදී කියනවා financial statement date එකයි financial statement authorization කරන date එකයි අතර සිදුවෙන සිදුවීම් නිසා financial reporting period එකට මොන හරි බලපෑමක් වෙනවා නම් ඒ පිළිබඳ සම්පූර්ණ වගකීම management එක සතුයි. හැබැයි SLAUs 560 වල කියනවා financial statement date එකයි auditor ගේ report එකයි අතර සිදුවෙන සිදුවීම් පිළිබඳ වගකීම ඒවා report කිරීම පිළිබඳ වගකීම auditor සතු වෙනවා කියලා. right එතකොට බැරි වෙලා හරි financial statement authorization කරන date එකට වඩා auditor report date එක වෙනස් වුණොත් නැත්නම් වැඩි වුණොත් එතකොට මෙන්න මේ gap එකට සම්පූර්ණ gap එකේ තියෙන සිදුවීම් වල සම්පූර්ණ වගකීම auditor ට යනවා. right auditor ට යනවා. එතකොට මේ extra risk එක auditor ගන්න නැති වෙන්න හැම වෙලේම auditor මොකද කරන්නේ? financial statement authorize කරපු ගමන්ම එයාගේ audit report date එකත් ඒ දවසටම වගේ නැත්නම් ඒ ළඟ දවසක set කර ගන්නවා. එතකොට එයාට තියෙන risk එක අඩු වෙනවා. මොකද එයා විතරක් නෙවෙයි management එකත් එතෙන්ට වග කියනවා. right so that is the reason. right is it clear? is it clear? is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is the actually base of the SLAS 560. So with this base, you can understand all the standard, right? So let's moving on to the definition of the standard. So I will erase these things. Okay. Then moving on. So definitions. So we have talking actually 30 minutes about these definitions. So date of the financial statement. So the date of the financial statement is the date of the end of the latest period covered by the financial statement. That means the 12-month period, which is either starting with 1st of April and either starting with the 1st of January and ending in 31st March or the 31st December, right? The date of the financial statement. Date of approval of the financial statement, the date on which all the statements that comprise the financial statements, including the related notes, have been prepared, and those with the recognized authority have asserted that they have taken responsibility for those financial statements. Right? So basically the financials, the date which is financials are approved by the those charged with governance is the date of approval of financial statement. Date of the auditor's report. The date auditor dates the report on the financial statement in accordance with SLA US 700. Right. So I have talking about this auditor's report date as well. Date the financial statement are issued. The date that the auditor's report and audited financial statement are made available to the third party. So third party means, who are the third party? Third party means shareholders, right? Shareholders. So the date that the financial statements are available for the shareholders, we are calling it as date the date which is financial statements are issued, right? Then importantly, SLAU according to the LKS 10 and SLAU is 500. What is the meaning of subsequent event? Event occurred between the date of financial statement, right? So we have the date of financial statement here, date of financial statement, and the date of auditor's report, date of auditor's report, and fact that become known to the auditor after the date of auditor's report, right? So the event of happening after the reporting period means event, or the subsequent event means, so we have the timeline here. Again, I will do the timeline. So let's say the financial statement date is this, and authorization date is this, and the auditor's report date is this, auditor's report date is this, and issuing date is this, right? So the subsequent event means the event happened after the financial statement date and the auditor's report date, and and the date after the audit report date that providing evidence about this date. So these events are non-adjusting events. These events are adjusting events, right? Right. So as I mentioned before, most of the time the audit report then date and the authorization date is same. Authorization date is same because to mitigate the primary risk that auditor need to face because of this time gap, right? To get rid of this risk, they are coming up to authorization date, right? Right. So the subsequent event is the things or the events happening between the financial statement date and the audit report date and become known to auditors after the date of audit report, right? Audit report. So if I am mentioning about the date, let's say financial statement date is A and audit report date is B and the issuing date is C. So in this standard, we are basically talking about the things happen between A and B, A and B, and B and C, and after C. So we are basically talking about things happening between A and B. That means financial statement date and the audit report date, audit report date, audit report date, and B and C means audit report date and issuing date, and C, that means after the issuing the uh, financial statements to the shareholders. So basically these three phases are talking in the SLAUS 500, right? A and B, that means the period between financial statement date and the auditor's report date, and B and C, auditor's report date and the financial statement issuing date, and the period C, which is financial statement after the financial statement are issued to the shareholders, right? So these three timelines we are talking in the SLAUS 560 subsequent event, under the SLAUS 560 subsequent event, right? So let's see these three areas, three timelines, right? Okay. So what are the audit procedures we need to follow when we are having a subsequent event in each categorized period, right? The period A means the period between A and B. So what is that mean? A and B? What is the period between A and B? Can anyone say? A and B? A and B කියන්නේ මොකක්ද පුතා? A and B period එක මොකක්ද?
Statement date and auditor's report.
Yeah, basically the statement date and the auditor's report date. So that is period A. So what is the audit procedures? If there is procedures we need to do if there's anything happen between two days, right? So let's see. Perform audit procedures to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence that management has complied with LKAS 10. Obtaining an understanding of any procedures management has established to ensure that subsequent events are identified. Inquiring of management, and where appropriate, those charged with governance as to whether any subsequent event have occurred which might affect the financial statements. Reading minutes, if any of the meetings of the entity owners, management, and those charged with governance that have been held after the date of financial statement and inquiring about matters discussed at the such meeting for which minutes are not yet available. Reading the entity's latest subsequent interim financial statement, if any, and obtain written representation. Obtain written representation. So the audit procedures we need to do when there is any event happen between the period A and period B, that means financial statement date and the auditor's report date. So first we need to get some understanding about the things which is done by the management about the subsequent event, and you need to talk with the management, and uh, if you want to talk, if there is any appropriateness, you can talk with those charged with governance, and you can look at how these events are affected the financial statements, and you can read the minutes, right? Read the minutes of the board meetings. So if there is a board minutes not available uh, up to the date, so you can discuss with the management, and you can have the idea what they have came across in these meetings. And also you can review the subsequent interim financial statements of if there is anything happen between those period in this interim financial statement, they will emphasize these things. And most importantly, you can get written representation. Written representation means actually as an auditor we are providing a reasonable assurance, right? We are providing a reasonable assurance, so we are always try to minimize our risk, right? We are always try to minimize our risk as an auditors, right? So we are getting written representation that providing evidence that management have recognized all the subsequent event happen between this period. And so doing that, what is happening? The whole responsibility of the subsequent event happen after the reporting period is taken by the management. So the auditor's risk will be mitigated. So I will show the written representation after the after completing the SLAUS 560, right? So written representation is like that. So the audit procedures we need to do in this period is, first we need to get the understanding about what is happening as a subsequent event, and you need to inquire the management and search what they are done for the financials, what is the impact to the financials, and you need to read the meeting minutes of the company, or if there is a meeting minutes not available, so you can discuss with the management what they have talking about in the meetings, and you can check whether they are draft minutes. And you can also look at you can also read the entity's later subsequent interim financial statements. And lastly, you can obtain a written representation, because between this period still you are not issuing your audit report. That means you can still perform audit procedures and gather evidence, right? right? මේ කාල පරිච්ඡේදයේ ඔයා තාම ඔඩිට් රිපෝට් එක ඉෂුව කරලා නැහැ. ඔයා කියලා නැහැ තාම සයින් කරලා දීලා නැහැ මේ මිස්ටේට්මන්ට්ස් නැහැ කියලා. ඒ නිසා ඔයාට ඔඩිට් ප්‍රොසීඩියර්ස් perform කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ පීරියඩ් එකේ. එතකොට ඔයාට මොනවද මේ සබ්සික්වෙන්ට් ඉවෙන්ට් සම්බන්ධ perform කරන්න පුළුවන් ඔඩිට් ප්‍රොසීඩියර්? ඔයාට පුළුවන් ඉන්ක්වයර් කරන්න මැනේජ්මන්ට් එකෙන්. ඔයාට නොලෙජ් එක ගන්න පුළුවන් ඒගොල්ලෝ මොනවද සබ්සික්වෙන්ට් ඉවෙන්ට්ස් වල කරලා තියෙන්නේ. මීටින් මිනිට්ස් රිවිව් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාට latest subsequent interim financials අරන් search කරන්න පුළුවන් මොනවද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා, සහ ඒගොල්ලන්ගෙන් written representation එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ management එක මේ period එක ඇතුලේ සිදුවෙන සියලුම subsequent event financials වල record කරලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා. Right? Am I clear? Why they are performing these kind of audit procedures is that because still they can gather evidence, because they don't issue the audit report in this period, right? Am I clear? Am I clear? Am I clear, Buddha? Am I clear? Am I clear or not? Am I audible? Okay. Okay, thank you. So then the period B. So what is the meaning of period B? Can anyone say what is the meaning of period B? Yes. Period B can මොකක්ද පුතා? What's the meaning of period B? Huh? Period B can මොකක්ද? That means yes.
Audit report date and financial statement issuing date.
Yes, very good. Audit report date and the financial statement issuing date. Very good. So the period B is audit report date and financial statement issuing date. Right? Audit report, the period between audit report date and financial statement issuing date. Because after signing the audit report, we need to have some time to issue the financial statement to the shareholders, because there are some processes are going on, right? You need to proofread the documents. You need to check whether all the statement and messages are there, right? And you audit also checking whether the financial numbers are okay, that the reports are including all the numbers that they have audited on. So there's some kind of period we need to have to issue the financial statement to the shareholders, right? So between this period, if there is something happen, so what are the things we need to do between the audit report date and the financial statement issuing date, right? So as we know, it is actually not responsible to perform audit procedures, but if get to know anything from management, should do below, because now we are issued the audit report, right? Therefore, we need not to gather audit evidence. We need not to perform. It is not our responsibility as auditor. It is not our responsibility to perform audit evidence or gather audit evidence. But if there is anything informed by the management, we need to do some kind of work, right? The first thing is discuss the matters with management, and where appropriate, those charged with governance. So we need to discuss the matters with the management, and if appropriate, we can talk with the directors as well, right? And determine whether the financial statement need amendment, and if so, inquire how management intend to address the matters in the financial statement, right? So as a first step, we need to discuss the event which is happening after the audit report date and the financial statement issue date with the management, and we need to determine whether this event need to be adjusted or need to have some impact to the financial statement, right? So you need to inquire with the management, and you need to discuss with the management as a first step. Then if there's an amendment required, right? If there's an amendment required, so what we need to do? So if management amends the financial statement, the auditor shall carry out the audit procedure necessary in the circumstances on the amendment, subsequent procedures on the matter, right? Why we are doing that? Because now management decided to amend the financial statements. That means if let's say we audited 1,000 amount of revenue, right? But with the amendment, the revenue goes up to 2,000. That means the number is changed, right? So we need to carry a additional audit procedure to check whether that balance 10,000 or the balance 1,000 is okay or not, right? So we need to do the audit procedure. Actually, it is not our responsibility to perform audit procedures between this period. But if there is an amendment happen, if there's an amendment done by the management, you need to do the audit procedures to check whether that amendment is okay or not, right? Okay or not. And you need to provide the new auditor's report on the amendment financial statement. The new auditor's report shall not be dated earlier than the date of approval of the amendment of financial statement, amended financial statement. The same thing happened because we have issued the audit report for 1,000 revenue, but now the revenue goes up to 2,000, right? So, so it is very much clear that we need to provide a new audit report to prove that this 2,000 is okay, right? So this new audit report need to be dated after the approval of the amendment financial statement. The same thing. So the audit report එකේ date එක හැම වෙලේම financial reporting approval date එකට පස්සේ date එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ කියනවා. ඒ date එක හරි ඊට පස්සේ date එකක් හරි වෙන්න ඕනේ කියනවා. ඒ same concept එක තමයි මෙතනත් apply වෙන්නේ. Right? Financial statement amend වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් අපි අලුතෙන් audit report එකක් issue කරන්න ඕනේ. හැබැයි ඒ issue කරන audit report එකේ date එක හැම වෙලේම මේ amend කරපු financial statement approve කරපු date එකේ දවසට හරි ඊට පස්සේ දවසට හරි පස්සේ දවසක හරි සිද්ධ වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? So in the period B, so we don't have any, as an auditor, we don't have any responsibility to perform audit procedures. If there's anything happen, we can discuss with the management and we can inquire with the management. And after the inquiring and after discussing the issue, then if management decided to amend the financial statement, yes, we have responsibility to perform audit procedures to check whether that amendment is okay or not. Then we have to, as an auditor, we have to issue the new audit report. So that audit report date need to be after the date of approval of that amended financial statement. Right? Am I clear about the period B? Yes, clear or not? Period B. Yes, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the period C. Period C. So what is the meaning of period C? Anyone? What is the meaning of period C? Yes. What is the meaning of period C?
Financial statement issuing date.
Yes. After the issuing financial statement, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Very good. Yes. Very good. So the period C is the date after issuing the financial statements to the shareholders, right? So in this period, not responsible to perform audit procedures, but if get to know anything from management, should do below. Discuss the matters with the management and where appropriate, those charged with governors. Determine whether the financial statement need to amend. Inquire how management intend to address the matters in the financial statement. The same thing will be applied because this is after the financial statement issued to the shareholder. Then financial statement shareholders issue කරලා ඉවරයි. Right? ඒ කියන්නේ shareholders ලා ගාව දැන් financial statements තියෙනවා. ඒ තියෙන වෙලාවේ අපි අඳුන ගන්නවා subsequent event එක. Right? So the first thing we need to do as an auditor, we need to discuss the matter with the management and those charged with governors, and we need to determine the impact of the event which is related to the financial statement. And if management is decided to amend the financial statement, we need to carry out audit procedures, and we need to review the steps taken by the management to ensure that anyone in receipts of previous issued financial statement together with the auditor's report, is informed of the situation. Provide a new auditor's report on the amended financial statement, include emphasis of matter paragraph. Right? So the issue is in this period, the issue is the financial statement are actually with the shareholders, right? So now the shareholders are looking at the financial statement. Now they are taking decisions, right, based on the financial statement. So during this period, we have came across some sort of subsequent event, right? So then as an auditor, we need to discuss the matter with the management, and we need to determine whether the financial statement needs some kind of amendments. So if the management is deciding to do some amendments, we need to carry out the audit procedures to check whether those amendments are okay or not. And the most importantly, we need to review that all the shareholders is informed by the management about this incident. Because I මේක වැදගත් වෙන්නේ අපි ඉන්ෆෝම් කරන එක, අපි මේ රිවිව් කරන එක මැනේජ්මන්ට් එක මේ ෂෙයාර් ඉන්ෆෝම් කරා කියලා. මොකද ෂෙයාර් මේ financials යොදාගෙන decisions ගන්නවා, right? So they are taking decisions based on these financial statements. එතකොට සමහර වෙලාවට මේ shareholders පරණ financials යොදාගෙන decisions ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක වරක්ව ගන්න හැම වෙලේම auditor review කරන්න ඕන. මේ වගේ situation එකදී management step අරගෙන තියෙනවාද මේ සිදුවෙච්ච සිදුවීම ගැන shareholders දැනුවත් කරන්න, right? Then provide a new auditor's report on the amended financial statement. So based on the amended financial statement, we need to provide a new auditor's report. So most importantly, in this auditor's report, we are including emphasis of matter paragraph. So this is very much important in period C. So this factor is always checking in your professional level examinations as well. We need to include emphasis of matter paragraph that emphasizing that there is something happened between this period, and according to that we are revising our audit report, or we are issuing a new audit report to the this company, right? This company, right? So this is important, the emphasis of matter paragraph. Actually, when we are looking at the professional level examinations also in SLAS 560, this clause is always checking emphasis of matter paragraph. So in this paragraph, the auditor is saying that we are issuing a new audit report based on this event, right? Why they are saying that? Because we need to emphasize that the previous audit report is not valid, right? Previous audit report is not valid. Please don't take decision based on the first audit report we have issued, right? So to give that message, they are including the emphasis of matter paragraph in the audit report, right? Am I clear? Am I clear? Am I clear about 3 periods? Any concerns? Am I clear? Clear or not? Is it clear, Buddha? Okay. Any concerns regarding subsequent events? Any concerns? මොනවද ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද? All clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Can you summarize the whole things one paragraph?
Okay. Actually, I'm summarizing whole standard, right? Based on these 3 periods. So in first period, the period A, which is financial statement date and the auditor's report date. That means the rationale is still we are not issuing the auditor's report. That means we are still can do the audit procedures to gather evidence. In this period, we need to do audit procedures to gather information about the subsequent event. We need to gather the audit evidence about the subsequent event, because still we do not issue the auditor's report, right? So sorry, there's a signal. issues happen, right? Okay. So in the period B, right? Okay, I will start with period A again, right? So I hope someone is not getting that right. Period A. In period A means financial statement date and the auditor's report date, right? That means still we can do audit procedures, right? Still we can do audit procedures because we still not issued our audit report, right? So these are the audit procedures we can do. We can review the minutes, meeting minutes, we can inquire with the management, we can obtain the understanding of the things happen, and we can read the entity's latest subsequent event, subsequent interim financial statements, and we can obtain written representation. So these sort of audit procedures can be done because still we are not issued the financial statements to the, or still we are not giving the auditor's report, right? And when it's come to the period B, that means between the period between the auditor's report and the issuing date, right? Still we not issued the financial to the shareholders, but we give the audit report to the those charged governors, right? So in this period, we don't have any kind of responsibility as an auditor to perform audit procedures because now we are now in this time we are giving the, we just give our audit report, so we don't have any kind of responsibility. But if there's anything happen and if managements are going to amend the financials, so then we need to do the audit procedures because our financials are changed, right? So we need to check whether this change is okay or not. So based on that, we need to provide a new audit report, right? New audit report. And in the when it's come to the period C means අපි shareholders ලට දැන්ටමත් issue කරලා ඉවරයි. ඒතකොට දැන් අපේ company shareholders 500ක් ඉන්නවා නම් අපි audit reports ඒක නැත්නම් අපේ financial statement නැත්නම් annual report එක ඒ 100 දෙනාටම බෙදලා දීලා ඉවරයි. right? බෙදලා දීලා ඉවරයි. ඒතකොට දැන් මොකද්ද අපි කරන්නේ? සාමාන්‍යයෙන් practical වෙන්නේ issue එහෙම issue එකක් අහම ඒ audit reports ටික ඔක්කොම ගෙන්න ගන්න ඕන. auditor check කරන්න ඕන ඒ හැම audit report එකක්ම කම්පැනිය විසින් ආපහු ගෙන ඒකයි රිවිව් කරනවා කියන්නේ. මොනවද ස්ටෙප්ස් මැනේජ්මන්ට් අරගෙන තියෙන මේක ඉන්ෆෝම් කරන්න අපේ ෂෙයාර් මොකද ෂෙයාර් කියන්නේ මේ ඇනුවල් රිපෝට්ස් දිහා බලලා ඩිසිෂන්ස් ගන්න කට්ටිය. එතකොට මොනවා හරි වෙනස් වීමක් නිසා එයා ඩිසිෂන් එකක් ගත්තොත් එයාගේ ඩිසිෂන් එක වරදින්න පුළුවන්. right? and ඔඩිටත් ඒකට රිපෝට් එකක් ඉෂුව කරලා තියෙනවනේ. එතකොට එයා පරණ එක බලලා ඒක මත ඩිසිෂන් එකක් ගත්තොත් ඒක වැරදි. ඒ නිසා ඔඩිට හැම වෙලෙම try කරන්න ඕනේ ඔඩිට් procedures කරන්න, ඒ වගේම review කරන්න මේ financial statements පරණ financial statement decision making එකකින් withdraw වෙලා තියෙනවා කියලා. සහ ඊට පස්සේ audit අලුත් audit report එකක් issue කරනවා සහ ඒ audit report එක හැම වෙලෙම emphasis of matter paragraph එකක් mention කරනවා. මේ audit report එක issue කරේ පරණ audit report එක cancel කරලා මෙන්න මේ හේතුව නිසා කියලා emphasis of matter paragraph එකක් හැම වෙලෙම audit report එකේ include කරනවා. period C එකෙන් පස්සේ මොනවා හරි subsequent event එකක් සිද්ධ වෙලා ඒක amend කරන්න management එක decide කරොත්. right? So these are the audit procedures we need to do when we have a subsequent event happening around us. As an auditor, these are the things we need to do. Right? So am I clear? Sir, period B එකේ new amended financial issues කරන්නේ approval date එකෙන් පස්සේද? ඔව්, approval date එකෙන් පස්සේ. මොකද දැන්ට මේ period B එකේ තාම පුතා අපි issue කරලා නැහැනේ. period B එකේදී අපි financial statement issue කරලා නැහැ. අපි ඉන්නේ financial reporting date එකයි issuing date එකේ අතර. right? issue කරලා නැහැ තාම. right? එතකොට amended date එකෙන් පස්සේ තමයි අපි issue කරන්නේ. right? Is it clear? The one who asking about the date, is it clear? Okay. Any concerns, Buddha? Any other concerns? Am I clear? period C එක ගැන හැම වෙලෙම questions වලදී අහනවා. මේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ නම් check කරලා බලන්න ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ chartered examinations වල එහෙම මේ ගොඩක් මේ period C එක ගැන අහලා තියෙනවා. මොකද emphasis of matter paragraph එක එතන හරි special, right? So the rationale behind having the emphasis of matter paragraph is we as an auditor we need to inform to the shareholders that we are issuing a new audit report, and the last audit report which is issued by the auditor is not valid, right? So new one is the valid audit opinion, right? So because if there's any big deviation happen in the financial statement and using the previous annual reports, people are taking decisions. So what will happen to their decisions? So sometimes those decisions will go wrong because of the wrong audit report. So if there is a subsequent event happen like this, right, after the issuing date, so always they are taking maximum effort to inform these things to the shareholders, because shareholders are making decisions based on the financial statements, right? Simple is that. Any concerns? Any concerns? Am I clear? Yes? Clear or not? ළමයි කතා කරන්නකො. Is it clear or not?
Clear, sir.
Okay. Let's see it is clear or not. So I will ask from yes 420. වඩ පුළුවන් පුතා මේක explain කරන්න. සරලව 420. කාට හරි පුළුවන්ද අපිට explain කරන්න? ක්ලාස් එකට explain කරන්න. මම මෙච්චරලා කතා කරපු ටික. Yes. Anyone here? Any volunteer? Yes. මම නම් කියන්නද දැන්? Yes, Akram, can you explain? For 17. Don't leave. Okay. So is it clear, Buddha? Is it clear? Yes. Okay. I hope all are clear. So if you have any concerns, you can ask, right? So I will moving on to the next standard, the going concern standard, right? So I will stop sharing this and moving on to the කළුවරේ දාඩි දාගෙන ලෙක්චර්ස් කරන්න පොඩ්ඩක් කතා බහ කරන්න තරහ වෙලා වගේ ඉන්නතු. petrol ne, current එක ne. So many obstacles. Okay. Okay, I hope you all can see my screen, right? So someone asks, FR issue කරන්න පොදු දිනයක් තියෙනවා නෑ. Financial reporting reports issue කරන්න පුතා දිනයක් නෑ. හැබැයි latest date එකක් තියෙනවා. සාමාන්‍ය PLCs වලට banks වලට CSC එකකින් date එකක් දෙනවා මේ දවස්වලදී පුළුවන් නම් financial issue කරන්න කියලා. Right? එතකොට ඒ deadline එකට තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ වැඩ කරන්නේ. එතකොට exact date එකක් නෑ, but for specific organizations, specific industries, they have exact dates, right? So that date will be changed based on the year, right? Sometimes with the, so last year they have going up to May or something, right? Going up to May. Some in some years they are completing in the year of April, the financial institutions. So the financial reporting issue කරන්න පොදු දිනයක් ඇත්තටම එහෙම නැහැ, exactly නැහැ, but organizations වලට නැත්නම් companies වලට sectors වලට වෙන වෙනම dates තියෙනවා. ඒක CSC එකෙන් දෙනවා. Someone asked about the financial reporting issue කරන්න පොදු දිනයක් තියෙනවද කියලා. ඒකට උත්තරේ. Right. Very good, huh? Very good question. මේ වගේ questions එන්න ඕන ඔයගොල්ලෝ නිකන් මේක අහගෙන ඉන්න ඕන. කාලා හොඳට නිදාගෙන ඉන්න ඕන මේ වගේ questions එන්නේ නැහැ ඉතින්. නේ? මේ වෙලාවේ අපිත් කෑවම පොඩ නිදිමත එනවා. lecture එක දාගන්නවා phone එකත් අරගෙන ගිහලා ඇඳට ගිහලා ඉන්නවා. දැන් නිින්ද ගිහලා දැන් 30කට විතර නිින්ද ගිහලා තියෙනවා. 60යි ඉන්නේ 177ක් ඉන්නවා මේක. sorry recording දාන්න හිතෙන්නෙත් නැහැ මෙහෙම ඉතිබ්බම.
කරන්ට් ඉෂුව එක තමයි ගොඩක් තියෙන්නේ කරන් ගිහිල්ලා සරයි.
කරන්ට් එක නැද්ද? මටත් කරන්ට් එක නැහැ. ඒකනේ ප්‍රශ්නේ. සිටුේෂන් එකත් එක්ක going concern issue එකක් තමයි තියෙන්නේ දැන්. අපි දැන් ඉගෙන ගන්න යන්නේ ඒක තමයි. හරි. Okay. SLA is 570 going concern. So now we are facing actually the going concern issues, right? In Sri Lanka, actually we don't know about our lives as well. So I saw in the last night news there is some tragic situation happened to a little boy, right? Because of some cat bees bite him and he died because of there is no medicine, right? So we are having a going concern issues in Sri Lanka, right? So actually this standard is basically based on this going concerns sort of thing, right? So you all know the meaning of going concern, right? So if there is any kind of a going concern issues there to the companies which we are auditing, what are the things we need to do? What kind of audit procedures we need to follow, and what kind of audit report we need to issue? So those sort of things we are talking in the SLA US 570 going concern standard. So basically in the content we are discussing about the introduction to the going concern assumption and accounting standard perspective, what is the meaning of the going concerns, and objective of SLA US 570, and what are the responsibilities of the management, and planning, risk assessment procedures and related activities when it's come to the going concern issues, and the evaluating management assessment. So I am not taking much deeper about the assessment things, right? And additional audit procedures we need to do when there is a going concern issues, and ultimately we need to report, or we need to conclude our audit based on the going concern. If there is any going concern issues, we need to conclude our audit report based on that, right? So these are the facts we are going to talking about in the SLAS 570 going concern standard, right? So the first thing we need to identify is what is the meaning of going concern, right? What's the meaning of going concern? So the simple example is Sri Lanka, right? The Sri Lanka is the primary example for the going concern issue. So now we are facing going concern issues, right? Now we are facing going concern issues. Gas ne, water ne, current ne. එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තියෙනවා මම accounting කරත් forensic කරත් ඉස්සරහට ජීවත් වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවනේ. Going concern issues තියෙනවා, right? Okay, someone is okay, someone asked standard එක 17 වෙනි paragraph එකෙන් කියන්නේ period C එකේදී management එකෙන් subsequent event වලට necessary statement අරන් නැත්නම් auditors ලට legal actions ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. yes, ගන්න පුළුවන්. මම එක කිව්වේ financial statement amend කරලා ඒකට අදාළව කටයුතු කරලා නැත්නම් දැන් financial statement amend කරේ නැත්නම් මොනවා හරි subsequent event එක සිද්ධ වෙලා ඒතකොට responsibility එක නැහැ auditor ට audit procedures perform කරන්න. හැබැයි පුතා ඔයා financial statement amend කරලා ඒකට අදාළ මුකුත් කරේ නැත්නම් ඔයාගේ ethical principles ඔයා ignore කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාට finance ඕනනම් අපිට පුළුවන් legal actions ගන්න shareholders ලා විදිහට. දැන් ආතෑන් දැන් එන්ඩ්‍රෝන් කේස් එකේ වුණත් ආතෑන් ඇන්ඩර්සන් කම්පැනිට මොකද උනේ ඔඩිට් ෆර්ම් එකට. ඒ ඔඩිට් ෆර්ම් එක KPMG එකටත් වඩා ලොකු ඔඩිට් ෆර්ම් එකක් ඒ දවස්වල. ඒතොර ඒ කම්පැනි එකකෝ දැන් හොයාගන්නත් තියෙනවා නේද? So what they are doing is they do not reveal the things happen in the company, so then people are taking the legal actions. The same thing happen. ඔයා වැරද්දක් කරොත් ඔයාට legal action ගන්න. ඒක තමයි simple, right? amend කරලා දෙයක් ඔයා amend කරලා තියපු දැන් revenue එක රුපියල් 1000ට තිබ්බලා revenue එක 50000 වෙනවා. හැබැයි ඔයා audit කරලා නැහැ. ඔයා 1000 විතරේ audit කරලා තියෙනවා. ඔයාට කියන්න පුළුවන් audit report එක හරි කියලා. එහෙම audit report එකක් දැම්මොත් ඔයා හරිද වැරදිද? legally. ඔයා වැරදි. right? ඒක simple, right? Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. Moving on to the going concern. Going concern issues මැදදී ගණන් ගන්න එපා chat එකේ going concerns issue එකක් ආවේ දැන්. හරි. So moving on to the going concern. So what is going concern assumption? So we all know, because from our A level time we are learning about this going concern. Right? Still we do not understand what is the meaning of going concern. Now we are facing a going concern situation in Sri Lanka. Right? We don't have gas, we don't have petrol, we don't have life. Right? So now we are in a going concern situation. So when it comes to the entities, the going concern means an entity is viewed as a continuing in business operation for the foreseeable future, right? So when we are looking at our future, right? If you have kind of a doubt what I am doing and what I need to do in the future, and what is the thing happen around us in the future. So if you have kind of that feeling, then you don't have a going concern, right? There is a going concern issue in your life, right? So the same example is applicable for the entities. So if the entity is viewed as continuing business operation for the foreseeable future is doubtful, then there is a going concern issue. There is a going concern issue, right? There is a going concern issue. Okay. Now we are having the electricity back. Thank God. Okay. Wait for a second because I need to move to the Wi-Fi, Kalni Wi-Fi. Right? Give me a second. Thanks. Okay. Recording කරාට recording එක මම දෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? Okay. So oil and gas firm operating in Nigeria is stopped by Nigerian court from carrying out operation in Nigeria. එතකොට නයිජීරියා කෝට් එකෙන් කියනවා මේ කම්පැනි එකට oil gas නිෂ්පාදනය කරන්න එපා කියලා. So then what will happen? The continuing the business operation is not going for foreseeable future. That means there is a going concern issue. And next, the firm is not a going concern in Nigeria because it has to shut down, right? So we have to shut down the business. So there is a going concern issue. A nationalized refinery is facing cash flow problems, but the government of the country provide a guarantee to the refinery to help it out with all payments. The refinery is a going concern deficit poor financial despite going concern despite poor financial performance. The refinery firm එකක් තියෙනවා, refinery company එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ company එකේ තියෙන financial problems නිසා ඒ company එක දැන් bankrupt වෙන්න යන්නේ. හැබැයි government එක කියනවා අපි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට help කරන්නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ payments pay කරගෙන යන්න. So despite of having poor financial performance, they still have the going concern, right? They can go for the foreseeable future because government is helping them, right? Government is helping them. So bank is in a serious financial troubles and the government is not willing to bail it out. The board of directors has passed a resolution to liquidate the business. The bank is not a going concern, right? So now the bank is going to liquidate, right? That means because they don't have money to pay back, that means the bank is bankrupt, and then there is a no going concern of the bank, right? So these are some of the examples you can read, right, about the going concerns. So am I clear with the going concern assumption? I hope it is clear, right? Because now you are experiencing the going concern assumption, right? You are assuming that පොඩ උදේ නැගිටලා කල්පනා කරනවානේ මේ අදවත් හරියයිද, right? පොඩ්ඩක් නිකන් පොඩි එකක් තියෙනවානේ අද කැම්පස් යන්න ආපහු එන්න පුළුවන් වෙයිද කියලා, right? So as per my experience, I have actually 4 years experience in the industry and now 1.5 years in this university and 28 years of life experience. So based on that, I don't think that we can recover in a quick succession, right? So I hope we can recover, but I don't think, right? I don't think we can recover because we don't have actually a plan and we don't have actually proper governing bodies, right? So they all are working to their wants and needs, right? So actually, I don't know about their future, right? I do have a concern about my future as well, going concern issue about my future as well. So actually this, I don't know. So you as a young professional, so you have good opportunity to build the nation, and if possible, let's see we can do something to build our nation, right? So otherwise always we need to do lectures online, and you need to do the things online. You need to chat with your boyfriend online, right? So actually, I don't know, right? So actually it is out of the scope of the subject, but actually it comes to the subject, right? Or every subject implemented because of the environmental factors, right? So likewise, the going concern standard also implemented because of there is some kind of going concerns issues happening around us. But now we are facing actually a going concern issue for our life as well, right? So I hope the going concern assumption is very much clear, right? No need to explain it again. Is it clear, Buddha? Going concern assumption? Yes, someone is saying that Ceylon bank එක bankrupt වෙන්න යනකොට People's Bank එක යටතට අරගෙන ආයෙ profitable කරා. Yes, very good. Yes, it's kind of a local example, right? Very good, Pudha. Thank you. Okay, any concerns, any issues regarding the going concern assumption? Because I want to move from the going concern assumptions to the much deeper in the standard. Is it clear? රට සංවර්ධනය කරන්න කතා කරන්න වන්නේ කොහොමද රට සංවර්ධනය කරන්නේ?
Yes.
Okay, someone says LLC company එක CBSL එකට help කරා. Yes, very good. Yes, you do have practical examples, right? So when you are writing an answer to the question, so you can mention those practical examples as well. Very good. So now I'm moving on to the accounting standard perspective when it's come to the going concerns. As we all know, we all learn in the A levels and other in the first year, second year, and the AAT and CA Sri Lanka, or those kind of professional examinations. I hope you have learned this 3 or 4 times before, right? So LKS 1, preparation of financial statement. When preparing financial statement, management shall make an assessment of the entity ability to continue as going concern, right? So if according to the LKS 1, right, if you are preparing a financial statement, management shall make an assessment of the entity's ability to continue as going concern, right? හැම වෙලේම අපි financial statement prepare කරන කලින් prepare කරද්දී අපි management එක විදියට assessment එකක් කරන්න ඕනේ company එකට going concern එකක් තියෙනවද නැද්ද කියලා, right? Right, මෙන්න මේ LKS 1 එකේ section 25 එකේ paragraph එක හරියට identify කරා නම්, right, Sri Lankan government එකට මෙහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ, right? Right, right, right. So if they are assessing the going concern ability of the country, so they will see there is some kind of deficiencies happen in the future, right? So then they can do some sort of precautionary actions, right? So mitigate the impact, at least minimize the impact, right? At least minimize the impact, right? But what they are not doing is they are not assessing anything, they are not planning anything, and they are not thinking about the going concern ability. So according to the LKS 1, if we are preparing a financial statement, management shall make an assessment of the entity ability to continue as going concern. Always we need to make an assessment every year, right? When we are going to do audit in any company, we are checking the going concern ability of the going concern assessment, which is done by the management, right? Because it is very much important, right? මොකද company එක ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දට continue වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් අපි audit කරලා වැඩක් නැහැ නේ. ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දෙන් පස්සේ company යන්නේ අපි audit කරලා කාටද කියන්නේ, right? So we are checking the going concern assessment. So because of this standard is very much important. LKS 1 අපෝ LKS 1 කියන්නේ කීරි ගොඩන්නේ. එහෙම නෝල කියන්නේ, right? Right? So the importance of LKS 1 is actually LKS 1 is the base for the accounting, right? If there is a not there is a no LKS 1, so then there is a no accounting, right? So if there is a no foundation, so there is a no built-in, right? Likewise, the LKS 1 is foundation of the accounting. So if there is no going concern ability of the financial statement, right? So we do not want to audit it, right? Because there is a no going concern ability, right? An entity shall prepare a financial statement on going concern basis unless management either intend to liquidate the entity or to cease the trading or has no realistic alternative but to do so. So these are the some sort of section elaborations. So you can read these things, right? Because actually this is coming from the accounting standard perspective. I'm not going to read all of these things. Okay. objectives of SLA US 570. Why we are having the SLA US 570? The first one is to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding the appropriateness of management use of the going concern assumption in the preparation of the financial statement. As I said earlier, always when we are preparing a financial statement, management are assessing the going concern assumption. Management දැන් අපි company එකක් ගත්තොත් company එකේ හැම වෙලේම financial statement prepare කරන්න කලින් management එක assess කරලා බලනවා අපේ company එකට තව අවුරුදු කීයක් ඉස්සරහට යන්න පුළුවන්, right? තව අවුරුදු කීයක් හොඳම උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් මම practical example එකක් උදා මම audit කරද්දී බෝගල මම ඔයගොල්ලෝ කලින් කියලාදී මේක ගැන බෝගල ගැන, right? බෝගල audit එක කරද්දී ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා බෝගල කියන්නේ natural හැදුණු මේ graphite වලින් තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ business එක කරන්නේ. එතකොට අපිට තියෙනවා concern එකක්, කවදා හරි දවසක මේ graphite නැති වුණොත් මේ business එක ඉවරයි, right? graphite නැති වුණොත් අද graphite ඉවර වුණොත් එහෙම business එක ඉවරයි, right? දැන් අපිට ඩොලර් ඉවර වුණ ගමන් ඉවරයි, මුළු මේ ලංකාවම ඉවරයි, right? ඒ වගේ graphite නැති වුණොත් business එක ඉවරයි. එතකොට මට concern එකක් එනවා audit කෙනෙක් විදිහට, if there is any kind of shortage of the graphite, so what will happen to the business, right? So we need to assess that duration, right? So based on that, I asked from the one foreigner of that organization. So the foreigners are doing the business, the German. So I asked from him, so what is the going concern assumption of the graphite, right? So he said that when he joined at the 2000, he assessed this natural resource. It will continue up to 30 years in this period, or up to date, or now if I'm doing this assessment again, still he can say that this natural resources is continue till another 30 years, right? Likewise, they are having assumptions. So based on an assumption, so we can say this company is going up to foreseeable future, right? So as an auditor, we need to gather sufficient and appropriate audit evidence to prove whether this management assumption or the management going concern assumption is correct or wrong, right? So if it is wrong, what will happen? We can't prepare the financial statement based on the going concern basis, right? We can't prepare the financial statement based on the going concern basis. So that is very much important to assess the going concerns of the financial statement. And next, to conclude based on the audit evidence obtained, whether the material uncertainty exists relating to the events or conditions that may cast significant doubt on the entity's ability to continue as a going concern, and to determine the implication for the auditor's report. අපි දැන් assessment එක බැලුවට පස්සේ අපි මොනවා හරි find out කරා නම් going concern එකට issue එකක් වෙන significant දෙයක්, ඒක finally අපේ audit report එකට impact වෙනවා, right? So if we found any sort of going concern issue in that company, we need to mention it in our audit report as well, or we need to modify the opinion. We need to say there is no going concern of this organization. There is a no going concern of this organization, not going concern, right? So that is why we are having the SLAs 570 going concern standard in the auditing standard, right? Am I clear? Am I clear? Am I clear? Okay. Randu, am I clear? Okay. So then responsibilities of the auditor. So the responsibility is when it's come to the auditor to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence about the appropriateness of the management use of the going concern assumption in the preparation and presentation of the financial statement, and to conclude whether there is a material uncertainty about the entity's ability to continue as going concern. This responsibility exists when if the financial reporting framework used in the preparation of the financial statement does not include an implicit requirement for management to make a specific assessment of the entity ability to continue as going concern, right? හැම වෙලේම දැන් අපි කලින් කතා කරා auditor ගේ responsibility එක තමයි auditor need to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence to prove whether there is a appropriateness of the going concern assumption of the management, right? We need to check whether the appropriateness of the management assumption, right? So it is actually deciding whether that there is any kind of material uncertainty about the entity that ability to continue as a going concern. So if there is any uncertainty exists, what will happen to the audit report? We need to amend the audit report. We can either modify the audit report, we can either issue the adverse opinion, right? Likewise, we can do amendments to the audit report. So that is auditor's responsibility on this regards. Planning, risk assessment, procedures, and related activities. So management, you can see in this box, management preliminary assessment of the entity's ability to continue as a going concern, right? They are assessing the going concern ability. So if there is a going concern ability, yes, discuss the assessment with the management, determine whether management has identified event or conditions that individual or collectively may cast significant doubt on the entity ability to continue as a going concerns. Management plans to address them, right? So now management are assessing the company ability to going concern, right? Ability to going concern, right? Going for the foreseeable future, right? So if there is a yes, the company can go for foreseeable future, then as auditor, what we need to do? We need to discuss the assessment with the management, how this assessment is done. So in that scenario, that foreigner said that it is continue up to 30 years, right? එතකොට මම ඔළුව වල හා කියන්නේ, right? I need to check whether I need to discuss how he is saying this. What is the rationale behind that, right? We need to understand that. So you need to discuss the assessment with the management, and then determine whether management has identified event or condition that individually or collectively may cast significant doubt on the entity's ability to continue as a going concern. So when you are taking the assessment, right, you came across that there are some sort of event that management have missed, right? So when it's come to the Bogle scenario, right? So he said that this is continued till 30 years, another 30 years, right? So when I'm checking at the assessment, I saw that there is some kind of environmental impact coming on next 10 years, right? He is not considering it, right? So we need to consider those kind of facts. We need to determine whether when management are assessing the impact, they are take into account all the scenarios happening around them collectively and individually, which is affected to the ability to the continue as going concern, right? And what are the plans that management have to address those deficiencies or those things happening around the assessment, right? In this Bogle case, if there's any environmental impact happen after 10 years, if if the management have some kind of plans to address those issues, then it is okay that we can say this company is going for foreseeable future, right? Foreseeable future. So if management, based on management preliminary assessment said that the company can't go for the foreseeable future, then what we need to do? Discuss with the management the basis for the intended use of the going concern assumption. Inquire of management whether events or condition now exist that individual or collectively may cast significant doubt on entity's ability to go in concern as a going concern. අපි බලන්න ඕනේ එයාගේ assessment එක ඕකේද අර වගේම මොනවා හරි වෙන collectively impacts තියනවාද මේක going concern විදියට යන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මේකෙදි කියන්න පුතා going concern management කියන going concern company එකට යන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. අපි බලන්න ඕනේ එතකොට going concern යන එක වළක්වන්න මොනවා හරි සාධක මේගොල්ලන්ට මිස් වෙලා තියෙනවද? හැබැයි මේකෙදි කියන ඒගොල්ලෝ going concern එකක් නැහැ කියලා. එතකොට අපි බලනවා මේ going concern එකට බලපාන මොනවා හරි සාධක තියෙනවද? මේ නෑ කියන එක නැති කරන්න මොනවා හරි සාධක තියෙනවද? Right? So we are inquiring with the management and check whether there's any kind of event or condition that individually or collectively may cause significant doubt on the entity's ability to continue as going concern. Right? Right? Okay. The same thing is discussing here. Okay. So next, event and condition that may cast doubt about going concern assumption. So you can read these two slides and understand what I have discussed in the last two. Yes, in this graph, what I have explained is elaborate in these two slides. So you can read, right? Because of the time limitation. I'll moving on to the events and conditions that may cast doubt about going concern assumption. So there are some sort of conditions or events happen that may provide some sort of evidence to the going concern assumption. So the financial conditions or events, net liability or net current liability positions. So sometimes we are having higher number of liabilities, higher number of net current liabilities. That means we are in a liquidate position, right? In Sri Lanka now we are in actually a very bad situation. There is a going concern issue, right? Going concern issue. We do have higher number of liabilities than the assets, right? Lanka විකුණලම ගෙවන්න වෙන්නේ, right? Right? ගෙදර විකුණලා තමයි ගෙවන්න වෙන්නේ, right? Liabilities. We do have high number of liabilities. Fixed term borrowings approaching maturity without realistic prospects of renewal of repayment or excessive reliance on short-term borrowings to finance long-term assets. අපිට fixed term borrowings තියෙනවා, right? And maturity then අපිට වෙලා තියෙන අර if you see that there is some kind of a law case going on in the America that they are asking for some sort of treasury bills and treasury bonds which is related to the Sri Lanka government, right? So this sort of situation can be arise, right? So they are asking money, right? But we don't have money to give, right? So now we are in a going concern issue. Indication of withdrawal of financial support by creditors. So sometimes the creditors have some indication of withdrawal of financial supports, right? Right. For example, that the vessel, right? The vessel which is coming from the, I think, America or somewhere else, carrying out some petrol, going to the India, right? So what happened there is they are asking advance money because they are not sure about the government of Sri Lanka. So there is a kind of an indication of withdrawal of financial support by creditors. Negative operating cash flows indicate by historical or prospective financial statement. So now we are having a negative financial operating cash flows. We don't have dollars, right? We don't have dollars to pay. Negative operating cash flows, right? Indicate by historical or prospective financial statements, right? That means we do have going concern as going concern issue. Adverse key financial ratios. So when we are looking at the financial ratios like profitability ratios, liquidity ratios, so they are very much in a bad situation. So that may indicate that we do have going concern issue, right? So those are the financial figures. So we have another few financial events and conditions. Substantial operating losses always taking arrears or discontinue of dividends, inability to pay creditors on due dates, inability to comply with the terms of loan agreement, inability to obtain financing for essential new product development or other essential investments. So this thing is happening in Sri Lanka also. So now we do not have funds, inability to obtain financing to essential new products development, or actually we don't have money to buy products, right? Develop කරනවා කෙසේද සල්ලි දීලවත් ගන්න අපිට සල්ලි නැහැ, right? තියෙන product එකක්, right? So we don't have money to do the essential investment, right? For the health, for the education, we don't have money, right? So inability to obtaining finance, that means we are in a going concern issue, right? Operating issues. Management intentions to liquidate the entity or cease the operation. So management are deciding to stop the operation and liquidate the company. So then there is a going concern issue. Loss of key management without replacement. Sometimes, for example, the Harry Jayawardena suddenly dead, right? So then loss of key management. So there is no replacement, right? So then there is a going concern issue with the John Keel's holdings, right? Loss of major market, key customers, franchises, license, or principal suppliers. So in recent days, I heard that Pizza Hut and KFC are withdrawing their franchise license from Sri Lanka, trying to withdraw the franchise license from Sri Lanka. I don't know exactly, but I heard, right? Kind of rumors or something, right? I heard that they are withdrawing their franchise license from Sri Lanka, right? So then what will happen to the companies which is running the franchises? They have some going concern issues. Labor difficulties. So now we are facing labor difficulties. So you for all these things we can say example from Sri Lanka. Shortages of important suppliers. So we don't have supply. If we are looking at cement industry, we don't have appropriate cement suppliers, right? And when we are looking at the ceramic and the tile suppliers, we don't have appropriate suppliers. Emergence of highly successful competitors. Sometimes the competitors come into the industry and they are withdrawing all the companies, right? So for example, let's see if America comes to Sri Lanka to do the business, then what happened to Sri Lanka, right? What happened to Sri Lanka? So for example, if Walmart comes into the Sri Lanka to do the business, right? What happened to the Keel supermarket, and what happened to that one goal face, right? So all are withdrawn, right? Because emergence of highly successful competitors. If you know about the Walmart, if your time go and search about the Walmart, so actually the Walmart main branch in Los Angeles or somewhere, right, in America. So their building is actually larger than our Colombo city, right? So when they are coming to Sri Lanka, what happened to others? One gold face and other things will withdraw, right? So for example, right, I'm not sure about it. I have a world largest company, yes, kind of a largest company, Walmart. So image of a highly successful competitor, right? So if there is a competitor coming up, then highly successful competitor coming up, then a business will have doubt in going concern, right? So these are the operating events. So other events, non-compliance with capital or other statutory requirements. So sometimes companies, so as we discussed in the first example, a Nigerian government asks that oil company not to do the business again. So there is a kind of a non-compliance, or there's a statutory requirement, right? By law, they are forcing to not to do something, right? For in the Bogle case, sometimes if there's a environment concern arises, so the Ministry of Environmental Concerns Department can raise an legal action and can be stop the operation of the Bogle graphite. So then it will have some going concern issues, right? Pending legal or regulatory procedures. So actually this is others are actually based on the non-compliance and regulatory sort of thing. Actually it is based on the law. If there's anything happen because of the law or the policies or the non-compliance, so then it also have some kind of indication that the company have a going concern issue, right? Am I clear? We are talking about the financial conditions. We are talking about the financial conditions. We are talking about the going concern, other conditions, and the operating conditions, right? Operating conditions, right? Okay. Okay, any doubt up to now? Any doubt? Yes? Okay, moving on. So additional audit procedures, I'm not going much deeper. Okay. So this is important. Audit conclusion and reporting, right? Audit conclusion and reporting. So if there's a going concerns issue in the company, what we need to do as an auditor? So as an auditor, we need to express an opinion through our audit report. So if there's any kind of going concern issues, what we need to do? So if there's a going concern assumption, yes, we do have a going concern issue, right? We do have a going concern issue. If it is a material, yes, right? If it is disclosed, yes, then we need to express unmodified audit opinion, right? Unmodified audit opinion. So in that unmodified audit opinion, we can have the emphasis of matter paragraph and say that there is a going concern assumption is there, and it is kind of this assumption, kind of this situation. We have this kind of assessment in 5 years. After 5 years, there is some kind of a going concern issue in the company, and it is worth rupees 10,000, right? Likewise, you can say, right? And you don't have any going concern assumption. That means we need to modify the audit opinion. That means we need to express an adverse audit opinion. So if there is any kind of a assessment of going concern, then we need to give a adverse audit opinion. Going concern assessment එකක් කරලා නැත්නම් පුතා assumption එකක් ගැන check කරලා නැත්නම් අපි හැම වෙලේම modified audit opinion එකක් දෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ audit opinion එක හැම වෙලේම adverse audit opinion එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. මොකද going concerns ability එක අපිට check කරගන්න විදිහක් නැහැ. They don't have the going concern assumption, right? So we need to express an adverse opinion as auditor. And you don't have going you have going concern assumption, but it is not material. It is not material. Then we don't have to modify the audit opinion. Unmodified audit opinion, we have to express, right? Going concern assumption එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක material නෑ. Material නැත්තම් අපි දන්නවනේ material නැත්තම් ඒක අපි වැඩි consider කරන්නේ නෑ. හරි? Material නැත්තම් වැඩි consider කරන්නේ නෑ. මම අර උදාහරණයක් කිව්වේ marry කරන්න යද්දී අර නියපොත්තේ case එක. හරි? Material නැත්තම් අපි ඒක consider කරන්නේ නෑ. modified කරන්නේ. හරි? Unmodified audit opinion. Material going concern assumption එක material. හරි? හැබැයි disclose කරන්නේ නැහැ. disclose කරන්නේ අපි accounts වල. අපි කියන්නේ accounts වල. එතකොට අපි modified opinion එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් අපිට ඒක qualified opinion එකක් හරි adverse opinion එකක් හරි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So either we can check if it is perceived, then we need to express an adverse opinion. Right? So based on the materiality and based on the assumption perceivedness, so we need to either express an qualified opinion or adverse opinion, right? So if we do have the material and we have disclosed it, we don't have to express an modified opinion, but we do have to mention that going concerns assumption in the emphasize of matter paragraph. Emphasize of matter paragraph. So this is how you need to conclude or you need to report if there is any kind of going concern issue is there in the company, right? As an auditor, so this graph is very much important. If there is a going concerns issue, based on this graph, you need to express an opinion. Based on this graph, you need to express an opinion, right? Right? Is it clear? Is it clear? And then audit reporting when going concern assumption is inappropriate and management is unwilling to make any assessment. If in the auditor's judgment, the entity will not be able to continue as a going concerns, the auditor should express an adverse opinion if the financial statement have been prepared on a going concerns basis. If the management is unwilling to make or extend its assessment when requested to do so by the auditor should consider the need to modify the audit report as a result of limitation of scope of the auditor's work. Right? Right? So audit reporting when going concern assumption is not appropriate and management is unwilling to make any assessment. So when we are doing audit, we found that the going concern assumption is not appropriate, inappropriate, and management also unwilling to make any kind of assessment of the going concern. So what we should do as auditor, if we find out that the entity will not be able to continue as a going concerns, right? What we need to do as auditor, we need to express an adverse opinion, right? Adverse opinion if the financial statement have been prepared on a going concern basis. Financial statement going concern basis එක prepare කරලා තිනවා. හැබැයි අපි ඒක දිහා බැලුවම පස්සේ පේනවා මේ කම්පැනි එක තව දුරටත් ඉස්සරහට යන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ assessment එක prove කරන්න management එක assessment එකක් කරලත් නැහැ. ඒකට අපි මොකද කරන්නේ? අපි adverse opinion එකක් express කරනවා. Right? Adverse opinion එකක් express කරනවා. Window dressing කරලා තියෙනවා. Right? You know the window dressing, what Sri Lanka government is doing now, right? They are trying to have some window dressing to the general public and they are holding back the people, right? ඉන්න ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දෙනවා තෙල් නැව් දෙකක් එනවා තෙල් නැව් පහක් එනවා. You know, they are holding back the general public, right? Right? But when you are looking at the figures and when you are looking at the financial of the government, right, there's a going concern issues. As an auditor, we do have the adverse opinion on the Sri Lankan government, right? So that's the same thing apply here, right? If management is unwilling to make or extend its assessment when requested to do so by the auditor should consider the need to modify the audit report as a result of limitation of scope. Going concerns ability එකක් තියෙනවා, right? Company going concerns ability එකක් තියෙනවා management එක හැබැයි assessment එකක් කරලා නැහැ ඒක prove කරන්න. එතකොට auditor ඉල්ලනවා management එකට assessment එකක් කරන්න කියලා. going concern එක සම්බන්ධ. හැබැයි management එක assessment එකක් කරන්නේ නැහැ. Then what we need to do as an auditor? What we need to do? We need to modify our audit opinion because management limit our scope, right? Limit the auditor's scope. Because of that, we need to modify the audit opinion, right? So this is very much important when we coming to the audit conclusion and reporting, right? Right? Is it clear? Is it clear? Is it clear, Buddha? So this is the part where most of the question papers are checking the audit conclusion and the reporting part, right? So you need to have the clear understanding about this part, right? Is it clear? Is it clear? Is it clear? ළමයි කතා කරන්නකෝ. Okay. Okay. So if you have any concerns regarding the things that we have discussed, so you can ask now. Any concerns? So I won't hear your voices, right? Yes. Any concerns? I can't find the names. 4, 7, 462. 462. Any concerns, Buddha? Four, 7, 5. Okay. So I hope all clear. So if you have any clarification, any concerns regarding things that I have discussed with you, so you can ask, right? So I will give you another 2 minutes, right? Okay. මොකද ප්‍රශ්න නැද්ද කාටවත්? No questions? Yes. Okay then. So all clear? ඔක්කොම clear ද පුතේ?
Clear, sir.
Okay then. So I hope all the things that I have discussed with you is clear. So if you have any questions, you can ask, right? So so next actually in next week the lecture will be taken by the Mudit sir, and in the tutorials basically I want to cover so we have only 2 tutorials, so we have done 8 tutorials, so we only have 2 tutorials to go. So in next tutorial I want to discuss some of the things about the audit report and all, and the last tutorial I'm supposed to do some revision, or if you need I can do the subsequent event and going concern issues and other sort of standard. So what you all are preferred? At least you can talk to that if you don't have any questions.
Revision is better, sir.
Okay. So can you tell us about the exam? Tax එක වගේ revision එකක් ඕනේ සර්, ඒක ගොඩක් කරනවා. Okay. exam එක ගැන පුතා going concern issue එකක් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. මට කියන්න බෑ physical ද online ද කියලා. Right. So in this time, most probably the examination will be kind of tough exams, not like MCQs and all, right? So you have to write some answers for the questions, right? So basically we are looking at the theories and looking at the application of these standards, right? So basically we are checking the practical sort of things, right? So not MCQs. So there may be some MCQs, but most probably the paper will be consist with some kind of practical scenario. I don't know, but yes, it will be some kind of practical scenarios, and you need to write some kind of answers. So you need to work hard, right? Copy කරලා paste කරන්න බෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ කට්ටිය එකතු වෙලා මේවා කරන්න බැරි වෙයි ගොඩක් දුරට, right? Right. Mid examination. Okay, mid examination, it's actually 1 hour examination. And also there's a, thank you for reminding me, right? Well, පුබුදුස ඇව්වා ගොලන් ටයිම් එකක් එක්සෑම් එක මේවා කරන්න මේ සතිය හරි නෙක්ස් වීක් එකේ හරි. Or the 2 lessons I have done is very much clear to you, right? So if you have any doubt, you can ask from me, as I said previously. Okay, so then thank you very much for participating, and thank you very much for engaging with me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.